Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call the meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. Our panel for this hearing, to my left is Mr. Kent Zillian, and zooming in is Tracy Anderson. My name is Brent McIntyre, and I'll be chairing the meeting. The secretary for today's hearing is Kara Alshaw, and our assessor is Nathan Cooper. To the participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak properly. Are we getting feedback? Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing the applications of revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, we'll confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimonies followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the Board's decisions by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. Thank you. Would you like to swear in the assessor?
Yes. Mr. Assessor, for the record, please state your name.
Ethan Comfort.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And Mr. Applicant, for 237 Manitoba Avenue, can you please state your name for the record? You'll have to unmute your microphone, please. You're still muted, Mr. Kenning. We're just waiting for you to unmute yourself. I'll just give a reminder for everybody who is in the meeting room. If you do have the YouTube stream going, you can please mute that Oh, there we go. Good morning, Mr. Kenning. We can probably hear you now. It looks like you're unmuted. Did you want to just test your voice?
I think so. Good morning.
Mr. Kenning?
Yes?
Hi. I'm just going to affirm your testimony now, okay? So for the record, can you please state your name?
Dirk Kenning?
Do you affirm any evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, item 2, let's go.
Mr. Kenning, I would just like to confirm that we have not received any evidence for your property.
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, we didn't read this is the first time we've done an assessment review and or appeal, and so we sent it last night about 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.
Oh.
And you don't have any evidence?
Sorry, I'm just catching up with last night's communications. It looks like, yeah, do you want to admit this late evidence, Mr. Chair?
Well, we should probably take a short break and just discuss it amongst panel members.
Okay. Okay, so just while the panel is deciding whether to admit this late evidence, I am going to put you back into the waiting room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a JPEG.
Is it? What's the fun?
Do I have to change it to a PDF first?
Twelve, 12.
Mr. Kenning, can you hear us?
Live now.
Mr. Kenning, can you hear us?
You'll have to unmute your microphone.
Thanks, sir. Okay, hi,
You can hear us, Mr. Kenning?
I can.
The board has considered your evidence, and even though it's submitted late, we will consider it.
Okay, thank you.
So now we'll proceed with the hearing. Nathan, you can begin, and then we'll follow with questions.
Okay, beginning with 237 Manitoba Avenue, roll number 1402 0449 000. This is in the William White neighborhood. It's a one-story single-family dwelling constructed in 1940. 744 square feet of living area with a part area basement. No basement finish, one full bath, no central air, no garage, and a lot size of just over 3,500 square feet with a commercial adjacent influence. Comparables 1 through 4 are all one-story single-family dwellings in the William White neighborhood, constructed between 1905 and 1933. The living area ranging from a low of 624 square feet to a high of 840 square feet. Comparables 1, 2, and 4 have partial basements similar to the subject, while comparable number 3 has a full basement. All basements are unfinished, again, with the exception of comparable number 3, which has a small, I believe it's about 10 by 11 rec room in the basement by itself. None of the comparables have central air conditioning. Only comparable number 3 has a garage. It's a detached multi-garage. And our lot sizes are fairly comparable as well, ranging from a low of 3,003 square feet to a high of 3,547 square feet. Only comparable number 3 shares the commercial influence. In this case, it's commercial influence instead of commercial adjacent. Sale prices for the 4 comparables, time adjusted sale prices range from a low of 88,000 to a high of 130,000, or a time adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $129.41 to a high of $206.89 between comparables 2 and 3 there. The 2022 assessment for the property is currently set at $115,000 or $154.57 per square foot. The current owner bought the property post-reference in January of 2021. If you refer to page 2 of my map, you'll see the comparables laid out all to the west of the subject property. The subject property's location is fairly unique. It's only just removed from Main Street there. My map is kind of cut off. I believe it's the Wojcik's funeral home is the commercial adjacent influence next door here, and then you're onto Main Street right after that. So that's makes the location fairly unique. In this instance, especially considering the location, I feel like our assessment probably is a little bit high at $115,000. And we'll be recommending a reduced value today in the range of $130 a square foot, which would work out to about $97,000 rounded. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kenning, how do you feel about that recommendation?
Well, that's great. That's fine.
Are you willing to accept it?
Yeah.
Any questions from Tracy, any questions?
Nope.
Ken?
I have no questions.
And I have no questions. Okay, that concludes the matter for 237 Manitoba. Thank you, Mr. Kenning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Danielson. I still don't have a video or audio feed for you. Are you able to hear this meeting? Can you send me an email? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll be returning you to the waiting room. Oh, they're there.
Oh, okay.
Kate, you have to unmute your microphone, please.
How's that?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
We can. You might be a little far from your machine, so as we go through, we may ask you to approach closer to the microphone when you're speaking.
Okay.
Are you both going to be speaking to this matter today?
Yes, but.
Okay, so one at a time then, for the record, please state your name.
Harold Danielson.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And the other Mr. Danielson? Thank you. And for, do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yep.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Senior Mr. Danielson, what's your first name? Because if I both address you as Mr. Danielson.
My name's Harold.
Harold? Okay, thank you very much.
And Eric.
Yeah, we do have Eric as the applicant.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, the next matter is 114 Olsen Avenue, and Nathan, you can proceed.
Roll number 1406-1259-000. This is in the Luxton neighborhood area. It's a 1 3/4 story single family dwelling constructed in 1911. The living area of 1,372 square feet, a full basement with no basement finish, a 4-piece bathroom and a 3-piece bathroom, no central air, no garage, and a lot size of just over 3,000 square feet. Our 4 comparables are all located on Olsen Avenue, so of course they're all in Luxton as well. They're all 1 3/4 story single family dwellings constructed between 1909 and 1913. Living area ranging from a low of 1,172 square feet to a high of 1,510 square feet. Comparables 1 and 3 have only partial basements, while comparables 2 and 4 are full basements similar to the subject property. All 4 comparables have 2 bathrooms in certain different configurations. Comparables 1, 2, and 3 all have central air conditioning, while the subject and comparable 4 do not. And comparables 2 and 3 both have single detached garages, where again, the subject property does not. Our lot sizes are all fairly close, ranging from a low of 3,044 square feet to a high of 3,306 square feet. Time adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of 188,300 to a high of 243,600. Or a time adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $131.61 up to a high of $186.99.
Do they have?
The 2022 assessment for the subject property is currently set at $220,000 or $160.35 per square foot. And page 2 of my brief again is just a map showing the layout of the 4 comparables. Again, we have a pretty tight grouping. And at this point, we will be recommending the $220,000 value. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric, do you have any questions of the assessor's evidence?
No.
No? Harold?
Yes, we have a copy of the 2022 assessment roll, and on it, it shows a detached garage. Yeah, it shows a. Where does it show? Are you sure that's?
Yeah, it's detached.
Yeah, so it shows a detached garage on it. That this is the assessment that we got from the city. So it doesn't show it on the listing that we got for this hearing, but the actual assessment we got with I guess the that was mailed based on text information, it shows that there is a garage on the property.
Okay, we'll just let Nathan deal with that question.
Looks like the detached garage was removed about a year ago when the property was reviewed. It's sold, as you'll see in the bottom of my sheet there, in October of 2019. A review was done by our department, and the old detached garage was removed at that time.
So okay. So it wasn't it didn't form part of the assessment, I guess then. Okay. Was there a recommendation at the time?
No. Sorry. What was the recommendation you made for the assessment? Did you say to keep it the same?
Yeah, I'd like to keep it the same until we get a chance to hear your evidence and to ask a few questions.
I think that's
questions.
No.
Okay, that's no more questions at this time.
Thank you. Tracy, do you have any questions?
Mr. Assessor, do you have any comment about the condition of the subject property? Is it in average condition? Do you have any information about that?
So there were 6 photos with the recent sales listing. I can say the exterior is still in a fairly rougher condition. The interior looks like it's been renovated with newer flooring, an updated kitchen, and an updated bathroom. The remarks on the sales listing under remodel have bathroom and flooring listed, so those are the main ones. I would say it's in average condition. It's got an effective age to reflect the upgrades that have been done that I think is fair.
Thank you. That's it, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You have a subject sales of 2018. What was the price of the sale?
Can you repeat the question, please, sir?
Yeah, you have a subject sales of October 18th, 2018. You have a price for the sale?
That's post-reference.
Is it post-reference? Okay. With respect to location, is it right across from the school?
It is, yeah.
Thank you. That's my questions, Mr. Chair.
And I have no questions. So Eric, you can proceed with your evidence, or are you both giving evidence?
Well, I'll do the majority of it. If Eric has anything to add after I've given evidence, then we'll have him present.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Should I proceed with giving evidence?
Yes, please.
Okay. The subject property was sold to us in October 2019 for $167,500. That probably would have been even lower in the subject time period of April 2018.
Just to clarify, that's a post-reference sale.
Yeah, it's a sale. Yeah, exactly. It was after the year
After the valuation date.
Yeah, and when you look at the graphs that were presented at HPR performance, it indicates I guess, no, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, okay?
Yeah, if you can go through
Yeah,
page by page
I'll just go through the presentation as we sent it. We got late, like this 167 is considerably lower than the assessed value by, several thousand, well, 30, several thousand below the assessed value.
Could you tell us what page you're on?
I'm on the page that says evidence at the top.
Okay.
Okay, and now we, besides the sale, there had been a appraisal done post sale that by a real estate agent, and that is included in the stuff that we sent, the letter indicating that he would place the value at that time, and it was September 6th, 2020. He would place the value at that time between 170 and 175, and he indicates that he had 10 comparables that he based it on. And
anyway, I'd just like to clarify that these assessments are based on a market value as of April 1st, 2018. So anything post that date is not relevant.
Well, the thing is, I guess what part of what we presented was an HPI performance over time. It's a snapshot of the value changes over time from the real estate association. And if you take the value at April 2018, the HPI index is 224.8. And if you take it at the time of the assessment, it's 237.0. And if you calculate the difference, and it's shown on the sheet here, the difference would have placed the value at the time. Like if you take the 224.8 over 237, you get 94.85%. And if you take
but again, I'd just like to clarify, you're taking a sale post reference that didn't exist as of April 1st, 2018.
That's correct, but the real estate association tracks the changes in value of houses based on sales, and if you reference the changes in the value, you because there were no changes in the house from that time, both the sale, the actual sale, which we paid for it, which was assessed by a real estate agent, and it was sold in an open market. And if there's anything that's more telling, it's what house is sold for. It takes into account what anybody in the market is willing to pay for it. And if we go back to, if we go back to sale and we go back to the current assessment, they're both putting the value in the, in the range of 160 to 167.5 of the house, nowhere near the 220 that it's assessed at. And part of the reason, which we will go through later, is that there's several discrepancies in the information that the city would have used to assess the value, including the square footage being high compared to the actual property. Now going from that, going from the 163 based on the HPI performance on the graphs, we also have looked at the comparable listings at 126 Polson, which sold for 187.5. And that one was larger size, and it had air conditioning and detached garage, which our property has neither. So it based on the sale, it appears that the overassessment was in the neighborhood of about $40,000. The 110 Polson sold for 187.5. It was assessed at 198,000. So that again was about 10,000 high, and it has a finished basement, which our house has not. So it's based on those sales, it appears that maybe the subject properties that sold are selling for much lower than they're assessed at. And the comparison properties that the city list presented, I noticed that 2 out of 3 comparisons, they have garages, which ours does not. It shows that one of them has 2 baths, which we only have 1 bath. There's a half-finished basement bathroom that wasn't plumbed properly and has no door and can't be used. So I feel that anything on the indication of a second bath or a half bath that is incorrect. And all of the comparisons have central air, which this house does not. So there's a lot of differences in the comparisons, and some have finished basements as well, and this property does not. So there's a lot of things that are not really making them a good comparison. Now, we had indicated that the property was purchased for 167.5, which is about roughly 52.5 above the assessment value. So I don't know if the board has sufficient evidence of that sale, or if there's any further proof required. We had sent a real estate letter indicating, a letter from a lawyer indicating the details.
Oh, and I think I had mentioned before that we don't consider post-reference sales.
But whether you consider them or not, they are part of the reality of the value.
And quite frankly, it may be reflected in the next general reassessment. But at this point, that hasn't been done, and we're not dealing with that matter today in any event. You said in the next reassessment, is there any option for a person to have the assessment done immediately as opposed to whenever the city decides to do a reassessment? No, quite frankly, the assessments are legislated province-wide. It's provincial legislation. So the city doesn't dictate the reassessment year or the evaluation date.
Okay.
It's all legislated.
So if the sales if the sales don't happen in the month that you're basing it on, or they happen previous to it, do they take the actual sales into consideration?
Well, typically, well, I'll let Nathan answer that.
In establishing?
No, typically we'll look at the market and sales leading up to our reference date rather than post-reference sales for determining our market value. For the next assessment cycle, the one where our effective date will be April 1st, 2021, then your sale will be directly applicable at that time.
Thank you.
I just had a couple of things to add, if that's okay.
Sure.
So I believe Nathan was talking about the listing, and I wanted just to come back to the discrepancy in size. So the realtor that we bought the house from did a calculation of 1,210 square feet, and it's marked as 1,375 square feet in the roll assessment.
It says 1372.
Or yeah, 1,372 in the roll assessment, which is 162 square feet difference. I'm not sure if that comes into play. You guys have the original listing as part of evidence from both me and Nathan. And when he was talking about the listing, he was referring to the pictures that were used. And I just want to say that it's kind of like the realtor was using the best pictures of the property to kind of show how the property looks. But I have included some pictures in my evidence that show the parts of the property that the realtor did not want to use, including the unfinished basement, the unfinished extra rooms. And we weren't aware that when we bought the house, there was knob and tube wiring in it, which we have to get replaced. So.
Yeah, and it wasn't included as part of the, it wasn't revealed by the real estate agent or the previous owners that it had knob and tube. And we found out after we had bought it, and the agent wouldn't have taken that into consideration in evaluating the house, in which case, you know, he had evaluated it at a higher rate than it would have been if he had been aware of the knob and tube. And so we feel that that the house could have sold at an even lower price had we been aware of that at the time. It wasn't revealed to us in any way. Yeah. I just want to quickly look through just to make sure we've covered everything. Yeah, I think that covers the presentation that we wish to make.
Okay, thank you. Nathan, do you have any questions?
I do have a few questions, yes. So since taking possession of the home, what changes have you made to the property?
Virtually none. We've done a very small amount of remedial work with a couple of circuits in the electrical, because there was circuits that were miswired, so that they had some of the wiring was backwards in the outlets. A few of the outlets had been changed to 3, like part of the reason we didn't know there was knob and tube is there was modern, some of them modern, but they didn't have any grounds, and some of them had reversed hot like the two prongs for the neutral and the hot wire were backwards. So we had those rewired for safety reasons. Other than that, there really hasn't been any improvements done there. There's a lot of it's all original plaster, and there's been a little bit of patching done to make it look better, but no major changes at all. A little bit of plumbing repairs because a lot of it's old plumbing or some new plumbing, but it's been the odd leak and stuff like that we've had to fix and changing a few things like that. But essentially, there has been no work done on it since the purchase.
Regarding the square footage discrepancy, do you know how the realtor measured?
What's that? He didn't specify, because I asked him about the discrepancy when I was going to buy the house. He talked about, he had done two measurements, one just from the outside walls, not including the areas that aren't heated. And then he said he had done a few measurements inside for the listing, because I think they're on there. And he was fairly certain that they both came to the same, fairly same square foot measurement, other than.
May I ask the assessor a question in regards to them?
Nathan, did he answer your question?
To an extent. The 1,210 square foot, is that the interior measurement or the exterior measurement, I guess is my question.
It would be the interior, I guess, because he compared it, and he did a measurement on the exterior and the interior, and then he reduced it for the exterior walls. So I'm guessing that's the interior room measurement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Harold?
Yes, when the city is doing an assessment, do they include unheated porches and verandas, and do they go based on the outside measurements of the building or the usable square footage inside the building?
So the city generally uses exterior measurements, just exterior wall to wall. And we do include unheated areas. However, they're not valued at the same dollar figure as heated areas, interior areas would be.
Okay. Do you have the information as to what portion of the square footage that you've listed is unheated space?
I don't have that information offhand, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, because I think with a real estate listing, they typically look at living space versus a veranda or an unheated porch. Might be not.
But Harold, you know what? In all fairness, there's no real estate agent sitting before this panel on your behalf, so we can't even question them. So I would suggest you just not go down that route.
Okay. Did Nathan have any more questions?
Just the last question was about the age of the furnace and the shingles. Are you aware roughly how old they are?
The furnace is very old.
The furnace would be about 30 years old, and the roof, I believe, was about. My understanding was it was around 12 to 15 years old.
Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you. Tracy?
There we go, sorry. Mr. Danielson, plural, the email from your agent has no date. Can you clarify that for me, please?
Yeah, that was,
September the 6th, 2020.
Okay. All right.
I think we had an updated one with the date on it, but it was after it wasn't in the original email. We sent a follow-up email because we realized that the date was cut off.
Okay, thank you. Also, can you speak a little bit to the knob and tube? Did you remediate any of that?
No, it's not affordable at this time. We got a rough estimate. We got an estimate of the electrical portion of it, but in order to redo the electrical, they got to punch holes in the plaster, probably 50 or more holes in it, and just to do the punching of holes and the running of wire, and the changing the panel from fuse box to a modern breaker panel was estimated to be in the neighborhood of $12,000 to $13,000, and that's without any repair to the plaster and that. And we felt that between the plaster and that, if we did a lot of work ourselves, we'd be looking at $20,000 anyway. So at this time, it's not affordable.
Fair enough. That's not an unusual estimate in my experience. So, and lastly, you mentioned that there's a half bath in the basement that's not usable. Is it just not usable?
Well, there's several problems with it. Some of it is plumbed with it's almost plumbed like a garden, garden holes. Like there's what is kind of temporary plumbing put together to fill a tub, and the toilet, all the plumbing is run above the cement, and it's tied into the clean out. It's basically legal, but none of it works properly. Like
have you decommissioned it, sir?
Pardon me?
Have you decommissioned that? Okay, good to know. And sorry, one last question. I just thought of one more thing. The photos that you have in your brief show a lot of unfinished drywall. Is that the condition when you purchased it, or is that today's current condition with the drywall that's unfinished?
Well, it's actually the current condition. There's some, and then
we bought it like that.
Yeah,
like the room was unfinished.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. And that's it for my questions. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Ken?
If you had to describe your property, what would you describe your property as? Average condition? What average condition? Do you have another description?
A description of the condition?
Yes, please.
I would like I used to do construction, and I would say that for a house that had very little done to it in the last 40 or 50 years, it would be typical. But I would say that the improvements that were done to it were done very poorly, like the plumbing is kind of a lot of it's done illegally, like not to code, and the electrical, of course, is a real problem, and the plaster is in the original condition pretty much, except for paint, a few coats of paint on it. The drywalling that was done to cover up, I guess, bad plaster, worse plaster, or whatever, was done poorly. Like, we have to redo a lot of the drywall because it's a lot of pieces and not lined up properly and stuff. So I would say the condition is very poor because whatever was done was not done very professionally, and even the drywalling, if we don't redo it, it would cost us more to tape it than to get somebody to do the whole thing, because it was just. So I would say it's a real challenge to get it to a condition that it's livable.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions, so that concludes this matter. Unless Nathan, you have anything to add after that, or any questioning?
I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mr. Oliveros, if you're on the meeting now, you can unmute and put your camera on, please.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
We don't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I had my camera slider.
That's fine. For the record, can you please state your name?
Yes, Ryan Oliveros.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next matter is 440 Bowman Avenue, and Nathan, you can proceed.
Roll number 0204 440 Bowman Avenue. It's in the Chalmers neighborhood area, one-story single-family dwelling constructed in 1913 with 610 square foot of living area, partial basement, which is unfinished, one full bathroom, no central air, no garage, and a lot size of 2,500 square feet. All four comparables are in the Chalmers neighborhood area. All are one-story single-family dwellings, just like the subject property. Constructed between 1912 and 1915, living area ranging from a low of 520 square feet to a high of 734 square feet. All have partial basements, similar to the subject. None have any basement finish. All are one bathroom. Only comparable number 1 has central air, the remaining do not, and comparables 1, 3, and 4 all have single detached garages where the subject does not. Lot sizes range from a low of 2,213 square feet to a high of 2,543 square feet. Time adjusted sale prices for the four comparables range from a low of 113,300 to a high of 135,000. Or a time-adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $168.53 to a high of $217.88. The 2022 assessment for the property is currently set at $129,000 or $211.48. And page 2 of my map just shows the layout of the comparables. At this time, we will be recommending the $129,000 be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan, any questions? Did we lose it?
No, sorry. I put my microphone back on mute there. Okay, so sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Kupfer. Did you inspect the subject property?
No, we haven't been doing residential inspections for some time due to COVID. We have no recent inspections for this property.
Okay. So you haven't done any like exterior inspections of your comparables?
Well, the comparables sold on MLS, so there were photos available for some of those. But regarding the subject property, no inspection and no photos.
Okay, so you have reviewed the listings for the subject for the comparables?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to go through them in more detail here. So for 555 Jameson, you're aware then that the flooring, bathroom, and kitchen have been upgraded?
The remodels list furnace and kitchen. Going through the photos, yeah, I would say new flooring as well.
Okay, and bathroom, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. 469 Bowman, just to keep it short here, the listing did state that it was the interior was totally, and I quote, remodeled.
That is what the realtor said, yes.
Okay. And the model appears to have assigned an effective age of 1933.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's about, that is 20 years more than the effective year for the effective year and the actual year built of the subject.
That's correct, meant to reflect some of those upgrades that you mentioned.
Okay. 253 Martin Avenue. The upgrades made to it were the bathroom, paint, some flooring, windows, and the shingles, which were done in 2014.
Yeah, this one's also quite nicely renovated.
Okay. All right, and the listing doesn't state it, but looking at the photos for 253 Martin Avenue, would you agree that that kitchen does look upgraded as well? It would be the third row of photos.
Looks like it's got a newer countertop and flooring. The cabinets could very well be original.
Okay, fair enough. 351 Jameson upgrades include flooring, roof, and exterior. Would you agree with that?
Flooring, roof, and exterior. Yeah, that appears to be correct.
Okay. And I know we've had some previous communications prior to the hearing. Would you agree that the subject has not been as extensively renovated as your comparable sales?
I can't say without having seen the inside of the home, and with no inspection history, we're going to consider the home to be average.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to suggest to you that the interior has not been as extensively renovated. Sorry, the interior and the exterior have not been as extensively renovated as the comparables, more so the interior, I should say. Okay, so no further questions for myself. Thank you very much, Mr. Cupper.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy, any questions?
No questions at this time, thank you.
A question, the property, what is, I'll say besides the law, what is exactly northwest of it? Is that vacant space?
Those are hydro poles, power lines. So it's a grassy area with hydro poles going across.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ryan, you're up.
Okay, thank you. So the subject property, 440 Bowman Avenue, roll number 02-0402 00000, file number 21-272. So I am just going to go to page 1 of my brief here. This is just a summary of our evidence today. We are requesting the board to reduce the assessed value for the subject from $129,000 to $88,000. You can see that I have provided a photo, an exterior photo of the subject on page 1 as well. I did do an exterior inspection of the subject property. I've provided further photos on page 8 of the subject for you to refer to as well. On page 12, you could just see some further photos of Bowman Avenue for your reference. So it is located on the southeast side of Bowman Avenue. So going to page 2, between Roach Street to the northwest and Watch Street to the southeast in the Chalmers neighborhood. The subject property, the assessor has given an accurate description of the basic details of the subject property. So I do just want to mention for the subject, the most recent upgrades made to it were the roof that was replaced approximately 4 to 5 years ago, and repainting of the interior approximately 5 to 6 years ago. Based on my conversations with my client, the interior of the subject is in average condition, although I haven't inspected the interior myself. So I am just going off of word of mouth from there. But looking at the exterior of the subject, I am going to suggest that it is in poor condition, or it is in rough shape. The land area the land is rectangular in shape, with an assessed land area of 2,500 square feet. That's according to the assessment department's records, with R1S residential zoning. Okay, so moving on to page 5 of my brief, I have listed the comps for you all here, as well as a map for your reference of the comparable sales on page 11. It shows their location relative to the subject property, and photos of the comparables on pages 13 to 15. So you can see here that going back to page 5, the comparable sales that I'm showing today were built from 1909 to 1914, so identical to the subject, with the exception of comparable number 1, which was built in 1909. They range in size from 600 square feet to 734 square feet. They all have unfinished basements, 2 bedrooms, and 1 full bath, which is identical to the subject, with two bedrooms and 1 bath. No air conditioning for each of the comparables, and no fireplaces. So looking at the land areas for the comparables are 2,264 square feet to 3,054 square feet, with R1S zoning as well. And comparables 3 to 4 have single detached garages. The rest of them just have the rear drive access. Looking at comparables 4 to 6, I've listed the upgrades made to those comps. So just to go through them, comparable 4, the upgrades made were the furnace, hot water tank, laminate and vinyl flooring, kitchen, bathrooms, roof, and windows. That one sold for a sale price of $122,500, or $166.89 a square foot. Comparable 5, upgrades made to it were kitchen, furnace, the sump pump, some windows, and the back half of the roof. That sold on March 12, 2018 for $127,500, or $199.22 a square foot. 496 Winterton Avenue. Upgrades made were the hardwood floors were refinished, kitchen, bathrooms, electrical done in 2012, the roof done in 2012, air conditioning 2015, and the hot water tank in 2015. That sold on April 16, 2016 for $138,500. So comparables 4 to 6, just to state, the sale prices per square foot ranged from $166.89 to $230.83 a square foot. Now you can see from comparables 4 to 6 that the subject property appears to more so reflect an April 2018 market value of properties that have been upgraded. As we learned through questioning, and as I stated, the 440 Bowman Avenue has not been upgraded to as great of an extent as comparables 4 to 6, as well as the assessor's comparables. So going on, so I do want to make note of comparables 1 to 3. There have been minimal to no upgrades. Comparable 1, the upgrades made to it were the electrical panel in 2010, the furnace in 2010, the roof shingles and decking in 2006, and the soffits, fascia, and eaves troughs. Comparable number 2, the upgrades made to that were the furnace, electrical, hot water tank, and the listing was a little unclear on this, but it said window air conditioning. That might just mean the window air conditioning unit. And 350 Martin Avenue, no upgrades have been made to that. I will say that comparable 3 is in my opinion, looking at the exterior of it, is likely in poorer condition than the other comparables and the subject property. So those comparables sold between $80,000 to $95,000, or $120 a square foot to $133 a square foot. So based on the upgrades made to the subject property, which have been very minimal, I am going to suggest that comparables 1 to 3 would more accurately reflect an appropriate April 2018 market value. So you can see on page 6, we are requesting that the assessed value be reduced from $129,000 to $88,000, or $144 per square foot. But I will say we may be able to establish an acceptable range for this. And I would say that the acceptable range for this property would be $88,000, which is what I'm requesting, to $98,000. That works out to $144 a square foot to $161 per square foot. And that is my presentation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Nathan, any questions?
Yes, sir. What's the approximate basement size of the subject property you're representing?
The approximate basement size, so that would be, this is just according to the department's records. We're looking at 420 square feet. The listing has it as 3/4.
420 would be about 3/4, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what about comparable number 1, 281 Harbison Avenue?
I have the listing here. The basement is listed as partial. I don't have the exact square footage of it though.
So no adjustment was made for the basement size discrepancy between these two properties?
No, and with an unfinished basement, I mean, this property hasn't been touched. The only upgrades that have been made to this property were the roof 4 to 5 years ago and the repainting of the interior 5 to 6 years ago. Other than that, this property has remained relatively untouched.
Would you consider that potentially the reduced sale price of $80,000 could be factored in with that there's only 110 square foot basement for the comparable number 1, about 1/4 basement?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
I said, have you factored in to the fact that this sold for $80,000, that it's only got 110 square foot basement compared to the subject, which is over 300 square foot bigger?
So we're looking at comparable 3?
Comparable
in relation
1.
to the comparable 1. No, I haven't factored that in.
Okay. And comparables 2 and 3 both have no interior photos on their listings, is that correct?
Comparables 2 and 3.
The other 2 low ones there, 95 and 83,000.
Yeah. That is correct. I am just going off of the descriptions made.
Okay, that's fair. Do you know the approximate age of the furnace for the subject property?
The approximate age for the furnace of the subject. The furnace was original 20 to 25 years ago, according to my client.
20 to 25 years, okay. And same question for just the windows and the roof, please.
The windows, they are dual pane at the front, from what I understand. The rest are sliders. Those have been untouched as well. This is based off of just an interview with my client. And the roof was done about 4 to 5 years ago.
Okay. And did you request any photos of the home, of the interior of the home from the client?
I did. He didn't have any photos of the interior.
Okay. And this is a rental property, correct?
This is a rental property, so I'm assuming that it is in average condition, and that's what my client has stated as well.
Okay. Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you. Tracy, any questions?
I don't have any questions at this time, but maybe, would you mind coming back to me? I just want to think about it for a sec.
Kent?
Thank you.
I don't have any questions at this time.
Thank you. Tracy, are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. Had to review my notes. I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Very much. And that concludes this matter. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
We have applicants for all of the remaining items. Okay.
We have to wait till it's offline.
Mr. Chairman, are we going to take a quick
I'd like to reconvene the meeting. I would like to reconvene the morning. The next property on the docket is 805 Leola, and Ms. Wright, I understand the evidence was submitted late.
Yes, that's correct.
But the panel have reviewed it and we will accept the evidence and we'll proceed as if a normal hearing.
Thank you.
So for the record, if you could please state your name.
My name is Danielle Wright.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Nathan, you can proceed. 805 Leola Street.
Roll number 0900957000. It's in the Kern Park neighborhood area. This is a bi-level single-family dwelling newly constructed in 2020. 1,150 square feet of living area with a full unfinished basement, 2 full bathrooms, central air conditioning, no garage, and a lot size of just over 3,600 square feet. 4 comparables are spread out a bit in the surrounding neighborhoods. Comparables 1 and 4 are 1 stories, while comparables 2 and 3 are bi-levels. All constructed between 2007 and 2016, so relatively new builds. Living area ranging from a low of 901 square feet to a high of 1,180 square feet. All have full basements. Comparables 2 and 3 have some basement finish. Comparables 2 and 3 also have 2 bathrooms similar to the subject, while comparables 1 and 4 only have 1 bathroom. All have central air conditioning, and comparables 1 and 3 have detached garages. Lot sizes for the 4 comparables range from a low of 4,137 square feet to a high of 5,443 square feet. Time adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of 272,000 to a high of 323,600, or a time adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $243.64 to a high of $348.71. And as I stated, page 2 of the brief, if you just scroll down, shows the layout of the comparables in the surrounding neighborhood areas. The 2022 assessment for the subject property is currently set at $307,000 or $266.96 per square foot, which we will be recommending today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wright, any questions?
Nope, that's pretty straightforward there.
Thank you. Tracy, any questions?
Just a definition, actually, if you don't mind, Mr. Assessor. Excuse me, it says multiple garage for comparable number 3. Is that more than a double, or is that the definition of multiple? It's more than one.
Great question. That means it's a double garage, not that there are 2 or 3 garages.
Okay, perfect. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
No questions, Mr. Chair.
And I have no questions. Thank you. Ms. Wright, it's your turn.
Thank you. Some of the comparables that I found in the area and neighborhood, for one, is roll number 0901047365, located at 539 Regent Avenue. The house is actually built by the same builder as ours. It was built 1 year earlier in 2019. It has the exact same layout by the builder, with the addition of an oversized 2-car garage in the back of the property, that at this time, it's my understanding they're not even able to get egress at their back door. So that one was valuated at $314,000. And an additional one was a roll number 090104758885 on 1002 Day Street. It was built in 2020, 904 square feet by level, and it was assessed at $266,000. 2 additional ones for comparison. Roll number 0901047311, built in 2016, 19 Parade Drive, 1,180 square feet. It has 9,500 square feet of land, and it was assessed at $323. And finally, roll number 0900199500, built in 2019. It has 1,100 square feet of living space. It's a bi-level similar to ours. Their basement is finished, however, with a full secondary suite in the basement, and it was assessed at $335,000. So I guess I haven't done this before. So says that I apologize. We have dogs here. Sorry. So I guess our concern is was that the exact same house as what we have currently, just a block and a half away down Regent Avenue, that has an oversized 2-car garage, fully finished, shingled, stuccoed, everything, was only valuated $7,000 more than what ours is. The materials alone would have cost exponentially more than that. And then, as well as the last one mentioned, it has a full built out granny suite, so to speak, with full living areas. It's being marketed as a duplex for people to live in the basement as well as rent out the top. So with those comparables in mind, we felt that ours was over-assessed essentially.
Okay, thank you. Just as an aside, the board doesn't compare assessments. We're looking for market evidence, market value as of April 1st, 2018.
Okay.
So that assists us in making our decision. Other assessments really doesn't help us, and nor do we take them into account. Nathan, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
No questions. Tracy?
I have no questions, thank you.
And Ken?
What were you looking for here, or what do you feel was a fair assessment with respect to price for your property?
More in the wheelhouse of $299 we were looking for.
What would you say is the condition of your property?
Pardon me, sorry, I didn't hear that.
It's okay. What would you say is the current condition of your property?
It's new. The basement is unfinished. There's some things that are still needing to be done, deficiencies by the builder that haven't been completed as yet.
Have you done any upgrades? Anything changed since?
Like upgrading like the HVAC or anything like that, do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, just we've put sod in for the exterior just recently. But no, there haven't been any upgrades, so to speak. It's whatever the builder has provided us is what we've remained with.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and I have no questions. And so that concludes this matter, and you'll hear from us in due course.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and taking my late submission.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.
Ms. Sadowski? Hi there, good morning.
Good morning.
For the record, can you please state your name?
Sabrina Sadowski.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the next matter before us is 627 Henderson Highway. And Nathan, you can proceed.
Roll number 020010980000, 627 Henderson Highway. It's in the Monroe West neighborhood area, a one-story single-family dwelling constructed in 1929, 744 square feet of living area with a full basement. Does have some basement finish, 2 full bathrooms, central air conditioning, a detached multi-garage, and a lot size of just over 5,000 square feet. Land influence of heavy traffic, of course, as it is on Henderson Highway. Comparables 1 through 4 are all in the same neighborhood area, all one-story, single-family dwellings constructed between 1928 and 1950. Living areas ranging from a low of 750 square feet to a high of 832 square feet. All have full basements with at least some basement finish. All have between 1 and 2 bathrooms. All have central air conditioning. All have detached multiple garages with the exception of comparable number 4, which has no garage. And our lot sizes are all pretty close, ranging from a low of 4,788 to a high of 5,148. Time adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of 210,400 to a high of 260,000. Or time adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $280.53 to a high of $322.60. The 2022 assessment is currently set at $252,000 or $338.71 per square foot. The current owner purchased the property in October of 2020, so of course the sale price is post-reference. However, sales verification was done by a member of our staff, increasing the subject's assessment from $199,000 to $252,000 based on improvements that were observed through the sales listing. And then just page 2 of my brief shows the comparables. As always, comps 2 and comp 3 are right next door to the subject property, while 4 and 1 are just a few streets down, but again, fairly close to Henderson. So this time we will be recommending our 2022 assessment of $252,000 or $338.71 per square foot. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sadowski, any questions?
I do have one question. So there's 3 obviously right on Henderson, but the 2 that are on Chelsea Avenue and Bronx, did you take into consideration that those are, sort of further north, sort of away from, I would say, Elmwood, kind of where we are on Henderson? We're right on the cusp of East Kildonan and then Elmwood. And if you go a little bit south, properties are worth, a little bit less. So is that taken into consideration when choosing these comparables? Just because I feel like those are, off of the busy street on, nicer, larger kind of more spacious roads and just overall, a nicer area. So was that taken into consideration?
The north-south issue, I would say no, not so much. Mainly just the heavy traffic from Henderson Highway itself. This is an influence that we apply to our mass appraisal model. When a property receives a lot of traffic, it's generally seen as a negative thing, and they'll typically knock the assessment down by about 10 to 15,000 from where it would otherwise be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy, any questions?
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone from the city actually tour this property?
No interior inspections. The review was done online based on the sales listing.
Thank you. That's all the questions.
Thank you. You're showing an effective year built in 1974. Was this house renovated?
The house was renovated. They list bathroom, flooring, and furnace as the main renovations. Just clicking through the photos pretty quickly, it looks like the flooring is in fact fairly brand new. Kitchen's got a new backsplash. However, it looks like the cabinets might be a little bit older. I would say that the house is fairly well renovated. The basement finish is also fairly new. Drywall, baseboards, drop-down ceiling, and carpet. Looks like it's got a little dry bar as well. And then the basement bathroom as well looks like it was fairly newly built. I would say the effective age is fairly representative.
And is that just occurring as a result of the sale? Or had
it is. I don't see any previous notes about the effective age being increased. Of course, it only goes back a certain ways, but from what I can see immediately, it looks like the effective age was all done at once.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Ms. Sadowski, it's your turn.
Thank you. So in my evidence that I sent, I kind of just went, sorry, this is my first time, so I was a little unsure how to go about it, but I just went to the sales book and I highlighted all of the, single story houses, and I kind of tried to stick within, Henderson and, the two streets, either north or south, just because, as I mentioned, I feel like we're kind of in a strange neighborhood or strange location in terms of neighborhood, because you go a little bit south, it's a little not as nice, and north is a little nicer. But anyways, so all of the houses that I did highlight, the ones in yellow were the ones built, 1920s, and then green is a little bit newer, so 1940s, 1950s. But you'll notice that none of the sale prices in the last 2 years go above 250. I think the highest one is 245,800, and that is 267 Neil Avenue, which sold in 2016. So really kind of, around the 150 to, not 252, which is what our house is assessed at. And so specifically drawing onto the one that's 635 Henderson Highway, which I think is, the best kind of comparable, since it's 2 doors down from us, and did sell in 2018, which is as close to the reference date as possible. It did sell at 210. And it's 750 square feet of living. They have a finished basement, double car garage, built in 1928, so a year older than ours. And the land size is relative. And so I would say that's kind of the best comparable, and obviously, 210 sale price, that's 40 something less than what ours is listed at. So and then I was looking at Neil Avenue as well, which is the nicer street to the north of us, and there was a house listed at or sold in 2018 again at 487 Neil Avenue. Their assessed value is currently at 252, which is what ours is listed at or assessed at. Their living area is over 1,000 square feet. They have a finished basement. Their house was built in 1955 with a detached garage as well, and they have a much larger yard size or land size with about 2,500 extra square feet. So that's kind of my evidence, I would say, to kind of support my case. I would, I think a fair assessment would be around the 215, 220 range for this property here, based on, two houses down there, they're assessed at 199 right now. So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you very much. Nathan, any questions?
Since buying the home, have you made any changes to the property, or is it still the same as when you moved in?
So in terms of big renovations, not, we haven't done any upgrades. We've painted cabinets, we've painted the walls, we've done small things here and there, but we haven't done anything, outdoors, any kind of landscaping or anything. We're gonna have to re-soil and resod certain areas because it's sinking in our yard, but we haven't as of yet.
Okay. Can you speak to the condition of the garage as well? Is it pretty old, or was it rebuilt, do you think, sometime in the last 20, 30 years? Are there holes in the roof? What does that look like?
So I would say the garage is in decent shape inside. I can't speak to, if it was renovated or anything like that. I mean, it looks, I would say, on the newer end compared to, some garages out there. I know, some of the siding or stucco paint and I'm not sure what it's called. The wood around the top of the roof is kind of, decaying a little bit. So it's in relatively good shape, I would say, compared to most.
Okay. Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you. Tracy, any questions?
Can you speak to the level of basement finishing that you have? It says it's completely finished, but is it? And to what level?
I would say, yeah, it's completely finished, and I do believe it was renovated by the previous owners. So I would say it's for the most part completely finished.
Okay. And for whatever reason, I didn't hear you when you were saying what you would appreciate as the right number for your assessment. Could you repeat that, please?
I think sort of in the range of 250,000 to 220,000 would be appropriate.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Ken?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
And I have no questions, so that concludes the matter. Ms. Sadowski, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Mr. Kotick, you're going to need to turn down your volume on the YouTube.
How about now?
Yeah, we're going to just hear you and not see you.
Pardon me?
I said, we'll just be hearing you and we won't see you.
You won't see me.
No. So,
Okay, so I guess I'm just called in on your phone system.
that's
there.
correct. Yeah. So we'll hear what you have to say. First, though, I'm going to just affirm your testimony so that the assessor can present his information. Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Steve Kotick. It's spelled Kotyk.
Thank you. And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next matter on the docket is 171 Green Avenue, and Nathan, you can proceed.
Roll number 020208100000, 171 Green Avenue. It's in the Kildonan Drive area. It's a one-story single-family dwelling constructed in 1926. 800 square feet of living area, a full unfinished basement, one full bathroom, central air conditioning, and a fireplace. A lot size of just over 5,000 square feet. All four comparables are in the Kildonan Drive area. All are one-story single-family dwellings constructed around the same time frame between 1921 and 1926. Living area ranging from a low of 748 square feet to a high of 932 square feet. Comparables 2 and 3 have full basements similar to the subject, while 1 and 4 have partial basements. Comparables 2 and 3 also have some basement finish, while the subject property does not. All are one bathroom, with the exception of comparable number 4, which is a 2-bath. And only comparable number 3 has central air conditioning similar to the subject, and only comparable 2 has a fireplace similar to the subject. None of the comparables have detached garages, with the exception of comparable number 1. Lot sizes for the 4 comparables range from a low of 5,000 square feet to a high of 6,391 square feet. Time-adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of $216,800 to a high of $255,900, or a time-adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $256.12 to a high of $319.08. The 2022 assessment for the subject property is currently set at $236,000. or $295 per square foot. The current owner purchased the property in September of 2020, so that's of course post-reference. And scrolling down to page 2 of my brief, you'll see just how close the comparables are, all within pretty good proximity to the subject. So we will be recommending our value of $236,000 today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kotick, any questions?
Yes, I have a question of just where the 4 comparable properties are located, their addresses.
If you scroll down to page 2 of my brief, the first page should be the comparable information, and page 2 should be a map which shows your property, 171 Green, as a yellow square, and then the 4 comparables as gray ones.
Okay, well, I'm not in the meeting. I'm just on the phone here, so I can't scroll down.
Comparable number 1 is 152 Green, so not far down from you at all. Comparable number 2 is 183 Oakview Avenue. Comparable number 3 is 118 Green Avenue, so again on the same street. And then comparable number 4 is 81 Layton Avenue.
Now,
The other question I would have is, are those all in the same district of Kildonan Drive? I think it's called Kildonan Drive 411, Market Region 2.
They are, yes.
Okay, and are they all within the time frames? Your sales comparables are between April 1st, 2016 and April 1st, 2018?
All four comparables took place before the sales before April 1st, 2018. There is no minimum date. They can go back before April 1, 2016.
Oh, I thought I was told that I could only use comps that were sold between April 1st of 2016 and April 1st of 2018.
No, we'll generally try and choose comparables that are as close to the sales date as we can. However, it's a bit of a balancing act sometimes between how comparable the property actually is and when the sale date was. But technically, you can go back as far as you want. The rule is you can't go past the reference date of April 1st, 2018.
Right. Okay. I think that sums up my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tracy, do you have any questions?
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
And I have no questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Kotick. It's now your turn.
Okay. So my evidence that was provided, I think you would have on your ability to put it on your screens. And like I say, I'm not looking at it now. But okay, so that's one long document. And I'd like to start with page 1 of that document, which is the application itself. And all of the evidence that I presented is kind of starting with this front page and continuing. So I'd like to just kind of go through the written notes that I had on page 1. And that was basically that I'm providing this relative information pertaining to the subject property and the crucial factors that should be considered as evidence in support of my application. So the most important thing that I wanted to consider here was the age of the home. And the age of the home is 1926. And there's some other comparables that I'll be using that are newer. But homes in 1926, how could I put it? They're old. And in a lot of cases, things get used up. And so to continue, I think you have to give more consideration to homes built in 1926 than simple maintenance, because in some cases put it this way, you have to give more consideration than, let's stay on page, than simple depreciation, because some of the features get to the point where they're used up. I've got, due to the age of this home, and there are characteristics that should be considered obsolete or at best functionally obsolete. And so just to go over those are when we bought the house, the roof. And the roof itself has a noticeable sag, a big dish, whatever you want to call it, in the rafters. And that stopped a lot of people from looking at the purchase because that sag is extensive. I've got it noted as a noticeable sag. And, what I'm going to suggest is that extensive replacement of roof framing would be required at some point in order to avoid a chance of a roof collapse. Now, that's not shingles or just maintenance, because the house does have a new roof with a big dip because of the age of the home. Then the second one is it's got a brick fireplace like you'd see in Kildonan Drive area, River Heights areas. It's a masonry brick fireplace that goes from ground level all the way up to, past the ridge, peak of the roof. And it's pulled away from the framing. So there's a distinct lean to that brick exterior. The fireplace is not in use. And then I maintain, for safety reasons, the entire brick fireplace would have to be removed at some point. And that's because it's obsolete I'm not even going to call it functionally obsolete. It's just obsolete because it's there. Maybe you get a static out of it, but you're not using it. And then my third point was that the home had work done in the basement previously to us buying it, which was the previous owner put in an interior drain system. So I don't have pictures to show this, but it was that black kind of barrier that's got all the dimples and bumps on it that wrapped the entire basement, and then they put weeping tile inside the basement along the footings, and so now the drain tiles are no longer functioning on the outside of the building, they're functioning on the inside. And that might keep the water from coming through the cracks in the floor, but it also provides for a higher than normal moisture content in the basement. And so it's just as was mentioned before, this basement is completely undeveloped, but development is limited because of that situation. So then on my next page, I had, because of the factors that I stated previously, the assessed property value of 236 is not a fair estimate. And I'm saying that based on those items that are basically obsolete or functionally obsolete, but they do bring down the value considerably. The subject property would have sold on the market, put it this way, 236, I said in there, is not a fair estimate of what the house would have sold for on April 1st of 2018, which is the reference date. The property was purchased in August of 2020, and the listed asking price at that time was actually $224. That's August of 2020, and the asking price was below the assessed value. If not for a bidding war, the house would have sold for less, and I'm saying much less, based on the functional obsolescence of the construction items detailed. It's my assertion that the fair market value and at the reference date would have been no more than $190,000. So at 236, I feel, and based on the evidence that I'm providing, that home is just not a fair market value for that time frame of April 1st, 2018. Then I'll go on to say that due to the age of the home, close comparables, and I'm talking, I don't have the benefit of seeing the pictures of the 4 comparables that the assessor provided, but these homes built in 1926, there must have been a general contractor that built homes in 1926, and they're twins, like you have one on the street and then a couple houses over, you have an identical house. And that's what I'm basing this on, because I scoured every street with the sales in Kildonan area of market region 411, and I took all of that sales data off the internet, and I think in the documentation that I received, it was telling me that use that information from market region 2, and bear with me, market region 2, Kildonan Drive 411. So what they had, and you could see when I scour right through there, everything in there was coming up sold between April 1st of 2016 and April 1st of 2018, and then with the time adjusted sales price to boot to follow that. Anyway, what I couldn't find was an actual comparable that looked like my daughter's house, who I'm representing here, is this home on Green. And I said, due to that age, what I did, as far as reference, I've included 2 very comparable properties on the same street, just a few doors away. One is 2 doors away. And I put this down as evidence, and I want to stroke evidence, and I want to include these properties as context only, because I understand at the beginning that you're not going to accept anything that has an assessed value, but for context, I want to look at it. So the same home is 175 Green. It's identical to my daughter's house, except for it's 900 square feet, otherwise identical and just 2 houses over. Now, here's the irrelevant factor because it's not up for consideration, but that house is assessed at 191. And then there was one over 2 more houses over that was a little bit smaller, and that house was assessed at 188. But the one thing that you'll find is if you Googled the street at 171 and you look at those 3 houses, yeah, nice street, nice trees, everything like this, but old houses. All these houses are 1926, 1926, and the last one was 1925. They have the jerkin head style roof lines, and so they look very, very similar. But after receiving your information, I'm providing that as context, and I think it would only be fair to at least give those properties some consideration for context, even if it's not considered as evidence. So then lastly, what I want to get into is what I did provide as comparables. And because these comparables are hard to come up with, and I do want to support the fact that I don't think that this house should be assessed any higher than 190. And that's because of the construction details, but also in context of where it fits between the assessment of these neighboring properties of assessed at 191 and 188. And it makes the case for this house to be assessed right smack in between those two, because the 175 green is, like I say, it's got a garage and it's got 100 square feet more. So, and then the 179's got less. So if it was assessed right in between those, it would support what I say about the selling price for this house as of April 1st, 2018, to be no more than 190, and that kind of supports it. But then lastly, I'm getting into, again, the comparables that I chose from that area. And I chose 2. Both homes are considerably larger and have some additional features because, as was mentioned by the assessor, this home really doesn't have anything in the basement. It doesn't have a garage. It's basically 2 bedrooms. It's got a bathroom and a kitchen and a living room. So there's not a lot to it. Yes, it's got air conditioning, and yes, it's got that fireplace that's kind of pulled away from the wall. But it's got that basement that I see as a problem, and it's got that roof that I see as a big problem. That affects the value of the home and brings it down to what I'm proposing. It should be at about 190, but my comparables will speak to that too, because my first comparable is 153 Oakview. It sold for $215,000. Having said that, it's 1,129 square feet, and which is 429 square feet larger than this home, but sold for $215,000. The time adjusted sales value was $220,400.
Mr. Kotick, just to clarify, you're on page 9.
I don't know what page I'm on, but I'm on 153 Oakview. There's a picture, and it was produced. I got it from a real estate agent, Martin Mashinsky.
Yeah, that's on page 9.
Yeah, I don't have that to be able to scroll because I'm not on screen. I'm just on the phone. So if it's page 9, it's page 9. Yes. So we'll go with that, and just I made some notes on it, so you could scroll down because it was hard to get supportive information. So I got it from Martin Machinsky because that's the guy we bought the house from. And then there was additional information, but it basically tells you what's in the house. There's a description on the next page of what's in the house. But I've already taken the oath, so I'm telling you what I'm reading, and this to be absolutely the truth. The house sold for $215,000. The time adjusted value was $220,000. The key features additional over this subject property is number 1, square footage, 1,129 square feet. It's a story and a half as opposed to a single story, and it's got the detached garage. So, and then it's built in 1943 instead of 1926. The lot and the neighborhood is very close by. The lot is identical, it's 50 by 100. Treed. The streets here are very, very similar. So nice lots, but the home's much bigger, 429 square feet. And I don't know if you do the math, but if you take what the assessor said, the value, let me think here. I think it was mentioned that this home might have $236 a square foot. No, that wasn't it. $295 a square foot. In any case, it's 400. This one's 429 square feet larger. So that's about an $80,000 value in the additional square footage. And the single garage, I don't know what that is, $20,000 more in value. But that's the first comparable that I have. And when you take a look at the time adjusted price there and all the extras, it also makes a case for this house to be assessed at no more than $190,000. The second one that I have was 56 Linden, and that one sold for $215,000, had a time adjusted value of $217,600. It's also considerably larger, larger to the point of it's 1,255 square feet, which is 555 square feet larger than this home. It's also a story and a half. It's also on a 50 by 100 foot lot. It has 3 bedrooms as opposed to 2. And it sold in that time frame between 2016 and 2018. Home was larger. Yeah, so 555 square feet larger. That's about $100,000 more in construction value. And then it's got a double detached garage, and that's another $25,000 or $30,000 that you could pay for a double garage. So those are my 2 comparable properties that I'm sure the panel will accept because they're right out of the sales book that I was asked to source them from. And they are the closest comparables I can come up with on price and support my position that this home should not be assessed at more than $190,000. And I think I've provided enough evidence. And in case of the neighboring properties as context only, because you see that the assessment's not going to count, and you don't want to consider that, that's fine. I can understand that. But that's it. That's my case.
Thank you very much. Nathan, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Tracy, any questions?
No, thank you. I have all my answers. Thank you.
Kent?
The only thing I would add is that, the information that I provided, like I say, it's one continuous spool of documents. So you could scroll down there. I think what would be helpful in the panel's making of the decision would be to Google 171, the subject property, Google Earth View to see the home, and then slide on over to 175 Green and 175 Green and 179 Green. Those are the homes for context. And the other ones could be viewed on Google Earth as well, the 53 Linden and the one on Oakview. I want to repeat myself. That's my whole case, guys.
Okay, I just have one question. On this,
yes.
The roof sag and the open fireplace leading, did you have any estimates to repair the fireplace or the roof sag?
No, but I'll tell you what, when we bought the property, the properties here are in high demand. So like when we're looking at the house, we're in the yard with 2 other couples looking at the house. And I didn't even notice the roof until, a fellow in the other group points out to the roof and says, "Hey, Dad, look at that. Look at the roof there." And then I'm looking, and it's the rafters that are sagged. Well, I could add this because I do know something about construction. In 1926, with the jerkin head style roof lines that they were building, they weren't using truss rafters, they were using collar ties. And so after what amounts to 1926, it's like close to 100 years old, the house, that roof could sag. And now those rafters have to be replaced. If you want a straight roof, you could just tear the roof off and reframe the roof with trusses. And that's what I call functional obsolescence, because yeah, it's still there and it's keeping the water out of the house, but it needs a lot of work. And as the fireplace, it's there as an aesthetic from the side of the house. Yeah, it looks good until you put a big 8-foot level against it and see that at some point in time, the houses really we don't all age the same, but this one's close to 100 years old. And when I have like the one that I compared, one of my comparables, that's 1943, that difference in construction techniques changed for the better. And
well, I think you've answered my question. The answer was no. There's no estimates if you.
No, I don't have an estimate for replacing the entire roof. No, but we could take a guess at that, guesstimate on that.
We have one board member with a redirect. Yeah.
Just a quick question. You mentioned that you don't have quotes for the roof or the fireplace. Do you have any quotes for the weeping tile issue that you have?
No, to be clear, the weeping tile was done by the previous owner. Now, I don't know why, but obviously the weeping tiles weren't functioning on the outside. Now, I know in 1926 they were using clay tiles. Those clay tiles might have most likely collapsed, and that's why the previous owner was forced to put in an interior inside the basement weeping tile system. It's not a weeping tile anymore. It's called Big O, which is a polyethylene tubing that runs around the perimeter of the house, down along the foundation, the footing, and then it's covered with concrete and put into the sump pump to drain out. But that does bring the water from the outside to the inside and then evacuates back to the outside. So that to me is compromised for future development. But the fireplace itself is simply not in use. And the only thing I can say about it is that the chimney from top to bottom, if you hung a plumb bob from the top of the chimney and hung it straight down, by the time you got to the bottom, there'd probably be a foot away from the string. 10 inches.
I think we've concluded that the fireplace is leading from your presentation.
Okay, well, I don't want to repeat myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, anything else?
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that concludes the meeting for this property. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
We're going to do a 5-minute break before the final three.
Sure. Right. We'll take a 5-minute break.
Thanks.
Coming back at 11:40.
That's right. I didn't get to ask my question.
Okay, live, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Pham, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Can
you.
you hear
very
me?
much. Yes.
Thank you.
We'll call the meeting back to order. The next property is 781 Console Avenue.
Mr. Applicant, for the record, can you please state your full name?
Food Farm.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And do you prefer to be called Paul?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know that easy then. My real name, right? Will be like messy there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Nathan, you can proceed.
781 Console Avenue, roll number 0206042400. We are in the Monroe East neighborhood area now. One-story, single-family dwelling constructed in 1976. A living area of 1,016 square feet. Full basement with basement finish. 2 full bathrooms, central air, and a double detached garage. A lot size of just under 5,000 square feet. Comparables 1 through 4 are all in the same neighborhood area. They are all one-story single-family dwellings constructed between 1957 and 1968. Living areas ranging from a low of 935 square feet to a high of 1,050 square feet. All have full basements, similar to the subject. Bath counts, as you can see, vary between 1 and 2 bathrooms. All have central air conditioning, all have detached garages, with the only exception being comparable number 3 is a single, whereas the others are doubles. Lot sizes for the 4 comparables range from a low of 3,463 square feet to a high of 5,005 square feet. Time adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of 250,800 to a high of 297,200, or a time adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $268.24 to a high of $295.72. The 2022 assessment for the subject property is currently set at $279,000 or $274.61 per square foot. The home was purchased by the current owner and applicant in November of 2020, so another post-reference sale. And by scrolling to page 2 of my brief, you will see our map detailing the proximity of the 4 comparables, as well as explaining those influences on the subject property, the bus route, bus stop, external corner and light traffic, because it's on the corner of London Street there, and there's a bus route that goes up and down it. So at this time, we will be recommending our 2022 assessment of $279,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Paul? Paul, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Yes, because I bought the house in 2020 there, November 2020. The price is $262,500.
And just to stop you there, that's post-reference sale. So we can only look at evidence up to and including April 1st, 2018. So that's the valuation date. So anything after that date, the board doesn't consider.
Oh, I didn't know because I think it's the we pay tax based on the sale value of the buy when I buy it. So because of the value, the actual value, that's my house. That $262,500. That's what I pay for. That's why I would like to pay on that value of my tax. I mean the tax that I pay for my house.
So do you have any questions of the assessor?
So because the assessment say the value of my house is $279, but actually I pay for $262.
And that may be reflected in the next reassessment, which is not occurring until, Nathan, you can help me out next year?
Should be April 1, 2021, the next assessment date. Oh, but the assessments won't come out until next year.
Yeah. So any other questions?
So that means you guys will adjust my my tax for next year, not this year, for 2021 right now and 2020.
We're not
2020 done already, right? So 2021, that's where you assess my value is 279, but actually I pay for 262, right?
right, but these assessments are based on a valuation date of April 1st, 2018, not what you paid for it in 2020.
Yeah, I think because
it may
the
be
owner before
reflected.
me. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
It may be reflected in the next reassessment, which is going to be for 2023.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
far? Because actually, I think the owner of the house, she didn't know, she old woman, she didn't know, she just paid tax over value of your house, or her house. That's all. But when I bought the house, not
yeah, that's something we can't consider what the old owner did or did not do.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. But the thing is, because now so I have to pay for this year tax. So my value already like lower than the market value right now. That's what my concern is.
Well,
can you guys adjust this year then? Or
no, you appealed the 2022 assessment, not the 2021 assessment.
Oh, yeah, because for sure, because I don't know I'm not owned the house last year, so I don't know the price of the house, right? Until I bought the house, then now you guys send me the assessment. That's what I know. That's why I would like to get the assessment for this year, right?
Well, it's for 2022. It's not for 2021.
Okay, so there's no way for me to you guys adjust.
Well, let us consider your presentation on what you're going to present. I think you've done it already.
Yes.
And leave it with the board. It will make a decision.
Okay, yes, will be perfect for me because I would like to pay what I pay, right? Then it makes sense to me too, right? Okay, I appreciate that. If you guys considering for this tax issue, it'd be good for me then to be sure. Yeah.
So, do you have any other questions of Nathan?
No, that's not all I have. The only thing is I just want to pay tax, pay all my value, actual value of my house. That's all. That's all I want.
Okay, Tracy, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
The last question is how long I will hear back from you guys, from the city then?
It'll be a couple of 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. So you will contact us by my email and everything, say? Sorry, my English is not really well, so I hope you understand what I'm saying though.
The board will send you the decision by registered mail, and it should be making its way to you by the end of this week.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, thank you for your time. Everything's to be good. Yeah.
Kent, any questions?
I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
And I have no questions. So that concludes that hearing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and have a good day, everybody there. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's it, right? My meeting done, right?
Yep.
I can.
Ms. Hernandez, if you're near your computer, we're ready for your application. I do not see her. So do we want to just go ahead to the 10th?
We can go to the 10th because there's no evidence. Did you find him? Is he on Zoom? Number 10.
Yeah, 10's been here all along. 10 was the first one to be admitted.
But there's no evidence.
Correct. And nothing was sent late.
Okay, well, let's go to strong word. Nathan, we're going to, and panel members, we're going to go to the last one on the docket.
Miss Robinson, if you can hear us, we're ready for you. We'll just need you to turn your microphone and camera on, please.
Hi.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for your patience today.
You're most welcome.
So just before we begin, I'm going to just affirm your testimony, okay? For the record, can you please state your name?
Oh, my name is Carrie Ann Robinson.
Thank you. And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Robinson. The property in question is 164 Strongburg, and we'll hear from the assessor first, and then you can make your presentation.
Sure.
Just to confirm that you didn't submit any written evidence?
No, I didn't. I kind of misread the letter and then I didn't have enough time to submit it. So no, I don't have any evidence.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor then.
Okay.
164 Strongburg Drive, roll number 0400698460. This is in the Springfield North neighborhood. It's a 2-story single-family dwelling constructed in 2002. 1,683 square feet of living area, a full basement with basement finish, 3 bathrooms, central air conditioning, a double garage, and a lot size of just under 5,000 square feet. The 4 comparables are all in the Springfield North area as well. They are all 2-story single-family dwellings, just like the subject, constructed between 2003 and 2005. Living areas ranging from a low of 1,603 square feet to a high of 1,927 square feet is the high end. All have full basements, all have basement finish, all have between 3 and 4 bathrooms. All have central air conditioning with the exception of comparable number 4, which does not, and all have double garages. Lot sizes ranging from a low of 5,057 square feet to a high of 7,539 square feet. Time adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of 397,400 to a high of 453,200. Or a time-adjusted sale price per square foot ranging from a low of $226.31 to a high of $259.95. The subject property was purchased most recently by the current owner in May 2020. So again, another post-reference sale. Page 2 of my brief again shows our map. Our concentration of comparables are all fairly close by. I would say within fairly comparable distance. The 2022 assessment for the subject property is set at $394,000 or $234.11, which I see as a reasonable value, and we will be recommending today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Robinson, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Oh, I do have one question for the assessment that I didn't really understand. When I look at the other comparables for the half bathroom, most of them says like three half bathroom, but from my house I only have 1 half bathroom. Why is that so?
The way this is coded reads a full bath would be a tub shower combined as a full bathroom. A half bathroom would be just a toilet and a sink. And then a half bathroom with shower or a 3-piece bathroom would be toilet, sink, and just a standing shower with no tub. So we're assessing your home as having 1 full bathroom, that's a tub and shower combined, 1 half bathroom, which is just a toilet and sink, and 1 3-piece bathroom, which is a toilet, sink, and a standing shower with no bathtub. Is that correct?
But this one on the paper says 2 half bathrooms.
That's right, but one of them has the shower with it, so that's a 3-piece bathroom when you combine those.
Oh, okay, I understand now. Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh, another thing I don't understand is that I only bought the house last year, right? And for $390. For this year, I noticed it's like $394,000. I really haven't done anything to the house. The landscape is really in a bad condition that I probably will have to do something about. So even though it's $4,000 that's added to what I paid for the house last year, I really and truly haven't done anything to the house. So why is it that it's increased at least to 4,000? I believe that maybe 1,000 to 2,000 added to the cost that I paid for it last year would have been more appropriate for me.
Nathan, do you want to answer the question?
Your 2022 assessment of $394, it's not based at all on your 2020 sale price. That wasn't factored in. This value of $394,000 is based off of a collection of similar properties which would have sold prior to the reference date of April 1st, 2018.
Okay, another question for you, one last one. Did you actually come and inspect the property?
I didn't come and inspect the property, no.
But would you say that would be a fair assessment then to increase the price if you haven't physically seen it?
Sorry, your price wasn't increased. The assessment wasn't increased.
I mean, based on the assessment value that you gave. Do you think it is fair to assess it at $394 if you haven't physically seen it?
Yeah, we haven't physically seen many properties in the city in some time. We generally use a mass appraisal model, which can be fairly reliable, but every once in a while an assessment's not, and that's why we have the appeal process.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy, any questions?
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Yeah.
No questions at this time.
And I have no questions, and that concludes this meeting. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So, Madam Applicant, Ms. Hernandez, are you there? I still do not see a microphone. I only see a camera. Is it all in one? Can you try speaking, Ms. Hernandez? It doesn't look like she can hear us though. Can you hear us? If you can hear us, give me a thumbs up. No, she's not hearing us. And I don't have a way to answer that. Maybe. There we go. I think we've got it. Ms. Hernandez, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry.
Great, and we can hear you and we can see you as well. So we are ready to hear your application. Just before we get started with the assessor, I'm going to affirm your testimony, okay?
Okay.
For the record, can you please state your full name?
Heidi Hernandez.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next property on the docket, or the last property on the docket now, is 38 Continental Avenue. And Nathan, you may proceed with your presentation.
Roll number 0400215150, 38 Continental Avenue. This is in the River East neighborhood area. It's a one-story single-family dwelling constructed in 1977, 1,037 square feet of living area, a full basement with some basement finish, 2 bathrooms, a 4-piece and a 3-piece. It does have central air conditioning. It does have a detached multi-garage and a lot size of just over 5,500 square feet. Our 4 comparables, all in the River East area, all one-story single-family dwellings constructed between 1967 and 1976. Living areas ranging from a low of 988 square feet to a high of 1,056 square feet, so quite a tight spread there. All have full basements, all have at least some basement finish, all are either, all are 2 bathroom, either with a 4-piece and a 3-piece or 2 4-pieces. All have central air conditioning, all have multi-garages, all have similar lot sizes between 5,619 square feet and 6,102 square feet. Time-adjusted sale prices for the 4 comparables range from a low of $280,500 to a high of $326,800, or a time adjusted sale price per square foot of $282.15 to a high of $311.93. The subject property was purchased, again, post-reference, May of 2019 by the current owner and applicant. Page 2 of the brief, again, shows our comparables laid out. As you can see, comparable number 2 at 22 Continental is quite close by. The other 3 are spread out a little ways. The 2022 assessment is currently set at $357,000 or $344.26, which I feel is probably a little bit high given the comparables listed and the review that I've done. So I'll wait to hear from the applicant before recommending a value, but I just want it noted that I do feel like it's a little bit high. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez, any questions?
No.
Tracy?
Oh.
Tracy?
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Thanks. Ken?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
And I have no questions. So Ms. Hernandez, you can proceed with your presentation.
Oh, thank you. Basically, we purchased a home in 2019, and when we purchased it for $310,000. We weren't sure why the assessment value of the house was very high until one of our neighbors mentioned it to us because we're first-time homeowners, so we're not really familiar with how the assessment property values worked. So this is why I applied to have a reassessment of the property just because there's no pool. However, when we go into the website to see the home, it does say that there's a pool. So I'm not sure why it's still showing as having one when it was covered. I'm not really sure if it was the previous owners or the owners before that. It was disclosed to us when we bought the home, but we didn't really ask questions on why and when it was done. So.
Okay, well, let's let Nathan answer the question about your sale. And then he can deal with the question regarding the pool.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question regarding the sale?
The 2020 sale, or May 1st, 2019, post-reference sale.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be something that's factored into your 2022 assessment.
Yeah.
That assessment is based off of a collection of sales that happened prior to the reference date. But it is a sale that's going to be used in our model going forward and for future assessments. Regarding the pool, I'm not sure exactly why that would be coming up on our public record. I'll have to do a review after the hearing, so I'm not holding everyone back to make sure that we're not unintentionally assessing something we shouldn't be. And I just want to clarify that there's no pool. There's never been a pool since as long as you've owned the property.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Tracy?
I think, no, I don't think I have any questions. I'm noting from the pictures that the roof looks a little worn. Have you thought about, or have you had an estimate on having that roof replaced?
No, we're probably gonna do that next year.
That's all my questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim?
What is the condition of your garage?
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, what is the condition of your garage?
The issue with the garage?
Condition.
Oh, the condition. It's fairly, it's I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, the roof will need to be replaced, but the garage itself seems to be in working conditions. Like it hasn't, broken down or anything. It's fairly new. The insulation of it is pretty good, so.
Thank you.
And I have no questions. Nathan, do you want to go over the value again?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I think 22 Continental, especially given the proximity and the size, is a pretty good indicator of value. Having reviewed both properties, at least the photos that are attached, I would say 22 Continental is probably even a bit better upgraded than the subject property. So given that, I would suggest an appropriate value, probably pretty close actually to what that post-reference sale was, around 310, 315,000, somewhere about that for the subject.
So are you making a recommendation?
I am, yes.
And what was that again?
I said about 310.
And Ms. Hernandez, are you happy with that recommendation?
Yeah, I mean, I have walked by 22 Continental and it seems like a pretty good house. I mean, they have a lot of upgrades on the outside of the home. I'm not really sure about the inside because I don't really know the people that live there, but
that one,
310 works
that 22 Continental, it sold for 326. So I am factoring in that it would be better upgraded than your home by about $16,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes this property and that concludes the hearing for today. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.